Representative Elissa Slotkin preps Senate run after winning tough re-election bid. Lansing, Michigan. AP, just 3 months ago, Representative Elissa Slotkin was one of the most vulnerable Democrats in Washington, fighting an expensive campaign for re-election in a Michigan district that Republicans were sure they could retake. That was all a distant memory recently as Slotkin sat beaming next to Senator Debbie Stabenow at a Lansing luncheon commemorating Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. fresh off a surprisingly comfortable 5 percentage point victory. Slotkin was eager to praise Stabenow, the Dean of Michigan Democrats, whose Senate seat is suddenly open after the Fordham senator announced her plans to retire. She knows what it takes to win and she is not going to let her seat flip when she leaves, Slotkin said of Stabenow in an interview. She feels, I think, very connected to making sure her legacy is upheld by passing the torch to someone who can win it. In what is quickly emerging as one of the most closely watched Senate races of the 2024 campaign, Slotkin is aggressively acting on Stabenow's call for the next generation of leadership.That. The 46-year-old former CIA intelligence officer is taking steps to prepare for a Senate run, including forming a national campaign team, according to an aide close to the congresswoman who requested anonymity to discuss planning. In the interview, Slotkin nodded to the plans, saying she was putting her ducks in a row before an announcement. Slotkin would almost certainly face competition from fellow Democrats in one of the most politically competitive states in the U.S. The ultimate winner of next year's primary will be crucial in the party's effort to maintain the Senate, where Democrats hold a one-seat majority and are facing tough headwinds as they defend seats in Republican-leaning states from West Virginia to Montana and Ohio. But Slotkin is gaining notice as someone who can help bring generational change to a party whose ranks on Capitol Hill are dominated by people several decades her senior. And the margin of her victory last year could offer reassurance that she's prepared for another tough campaign. Extremely hard-working, great fundraiser, has run in tough elections. I think she would be at the very top, Michigan Democratic strategist Amy Chapman, who was Barack Obama's state director in 2008, said in assessing Slotkin's primary prospects. Chapman is neutral in the Senate primary. Slotkin's potential Democratic rivals include Michigan Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson, Reps. Debbie Dingell and Haley Stevens, Lieutenant Governor Garland Gilchrist and State Senator Mallory McMorrow. Only one Michigan Republican has held a seat in the Senate in the past 40 years, Spencer Abraham, from 1995 to 2001. He was defeated for re-election by Stabenow. Many of the possible contenders have their own unique background that could distinguish them in a primary. Gilchrist is the only black party prospect in a state where the Detroit area accounts for half of the statewide vote. Benson won re-election by a wider margin in November than Governor Gretchen Whitmer, who sailed to a second term. McMorrow made a national name for herself last year with an impassioned floor speech about her opposition to restrictions on race and gender-related topics in schools. Dingell, whose late husband, John, was the longest-serving House member ever, represents suburban Detroit. But for now, Slotkin appears to be the most aggressive in acting in light of Stabenow's January 5 retirement announcement, which surprised much of the Michigan Democratic establishment. Slotkin used her regular internal political meeting that day to begin discussing steps she would need to take to